Okay, take two. Go figure. So, sorry it's been so long since I've shot any video footage. Uh, Not footage. Yeah, whatever. So anyhow, it's been a while. I haven't had opportunity in the last couple of weeks to do anything. I've been really busy with a lot of the projects here at the school and helping out some of the other people here with their automotive repair needs. Um, this is not going to be anything about the Bumble Jeep. Maybe superficially, I may mention it about something or other on it. But anyhow, it's Sunday, April 25th, here at Blue Mountain Academy, this beautiful campus. Um, Somebody had mentioned in a comment a while back that they'd like to see the campus. You can go on our website, it's bma.us, and they'll have some pictures and whatnot of the campus so you can get an idea of what this place is and what it's like. And it'll have a little mission statement on there if you're interested. But anyhow, I was just going to share with you today briefly some of what I've been working on in the last couple of weeks. Um, it's been fun. An update on the frame repair. I got one piece welded in. Yeah, I'm going to share that. There she blows. So I got that welded in. Nice and solid. Um, like my buddy Doug over at SV Seeker says, a lot of grinding and a little paint will make me look like the welder I ain't. I am getting better, and I'm imagine by the time I'm done with this project, let's get it behind me. By the time I'm done with this project, I'll be hopefully a lot better. Um, I counted up the holes that need repaired, and there's 25 or 26 holes, not counting the one I just fixed earlier last week. Um, so that's where I am on that. I haven't had hardly any time to work on that. I just had a lull in the action here, so I took half an hour to 45 minutes, whatever it was, to cut out the piece and shape it and weld it in there. So I bought a bunch of little welding doodads. I bought the magnetic angle things, the little red triangle things that are the 90s to hold stuff, and I bought a bunch of those little, it's easier to show you than explain it, but bought a bunch of these. These have the magnets on both sides. This is to hold a patch in place. It's nice because they stick to the inside of the drawer. Tool update, bought a bunch more tools. Cobalt, of course, really happy with them. Finally broke down and bought I don't know why I did it, I just did it. This is a 1/4 inch drive, 90 tooth swivel head. I finally buckled down and bought it. It was like $30, which is ridiculous. It's like, this one wasn't even $30, and this is a 3/8 drive, so go figure. I guess finer machine costs more. So on the Kubota tractor, I don't know if I mentioned that, that was a head job. Had to put a head gasket. Supposedly all it needed was a head gasket. Well, best laid plans of mice and men. I pulled the head off. Didn't take very long. They decided they were going to send it out and get it checked because, you know, when you overheat, it can warp. It turns out it was cracked. I think I showed you that in the last video. So anyhow, it turned out it's not just the head that's cracked. There's something else internally that's cracked. I dumped like 3 quarts of coolant in it and decided I better check and see what the capacity is. The actual capacity on this Kubota, there you go, was 7.9 quarts, which is just a little under 2 gallons, and I had 3 in it at that point. I figured, why not? I dumped another gallon in, and still nothing's coming out anywhere, no external leaks. And I pulled the dipstick here, and we got a geyser of oil out the dipstick tube, so it was as fast as I was pouring it in the radiator, it was going into the oil pan. So this is, they want to do, this is not, this is an aggravation for me. I'm not a tractor diesel mechanic by any stretch of the imagination. But anyhow, the operations manager's brother, who is on the West Coast, is certain that I put the head gasket in wrong. And there's only one way this head gasket goes in, because there's a pin in the block in this front corner of the block here. I don't know how much of that you can see. But anyhow, you put an O-ring around it, then the head gasket goes on. And the head gasket will only go on one way. You can't put it on upside down. You can't put it on backwards. It only goes one way. And if it was on wrong, the head would not have gone on. So the head gasket is not in wrong. Also suggested that the crack might be repairable. I suggested they find another motor, because less work for me. I don't have to pull this head off and swap it onto a short block, and you don't know what you're getting. So if you buy a running motor, you know what you got. It's not going to be easy swapping out the block, so it'd just be quicker to put the whole running motor in it than it would be to get a block and then have to swap the head over and all that other happy hoo-hoo. So anyhow, that's where we are there. There's been some progress on the White Beast. I'll get that behind me here. Mark, the shop teacher here, has started the kids working on it. They got a lot of the glass back in it, almost all the glass back in it. They have the door panels to put on. They got the exterior handles in. They're putting a lot of the trim on. We're getting ready to put the bumpers back on. The front bumper has a little trim piece that needs to be painted. He's going to have one of the students paint that, since he just painted his bicycle. You know, you got to let these kids do some of the work, or else they won't learn anything. We try and make them do as much as possible, but some of the kids are uncomfortable crawling under a vehicle. They're afraid it's going to fall on them. That's something you have to get over. Just learn how to properly jack and lift a vehicle, and you don't have anything to worry about. So this is the project that came in Friday. It is a Massey Ferguson. And I'm going to switch hands here and show you. Yes. So this is why it came in. The guy actually drove it up here, drove it in. But this is the old clutch. Nothing on this side. So, yep. There's all kinds of clutch material that was inside. The clutch is basically destroyed. So I ended up looking up a video on YouTube on how to do a clutch job on one of these tractors, because, I mean, I had a pretty good idea, obviously, but it doesn't hurt to watch somebody else struggle through it and maybe pick up a shortcut here and there. So the video I watched, it was the same model. It's a Massey Ferguson 265. See, right there. And the video was a time lapse, and they said it was 6.5 hours. It took 3 of them to get to this point. And all they had on there, as far as what the informational was, they pop up text on the video while it's, you know, going away 90 miles an hour, that, you know, disconnecting electrical, disconnecting hydraulic, disconnecting this, disconnecting that, and then, you know, removing this, removing that, which was, believe it or not, more helpful than you might think. So I had a little help getting the hood off. I had help getting the fuel tank out. And it's pretty straightforward. You remove all the access panels, which would be the hood and the cowl around the instrument cluster and the steering, and then you take, it's actually, the hole in the hood is actually big enough to go up around the muffler. So it's easier to take the hood off before you take the muffler off, because the muffler is buried down inside and you can't get at the clamp bolts. So I had the fuel tank plate. There's fuel lines on the fuel tank. There's one out, and there's a petcock on the fuel tank that you can shut off. and then it's a return line off the injectors that goes into the top of the tank. So the tank wasn't completely full, but with the half a tank of fuel in there, it's awkward because it sloshes around. So anyhow, removed all the panels, got the electrical system off. One thing you want to do if you want to take this as a how-to on a clutch job on a Massey 265 is disconnect your batteries first, just a little short. But there's wires on the headlights that you can disconnect. There's wires on the alternator and then wires on the starter. That's basically it for the electrical on this. Then the fuel line to the tank and the bleeder off the tank, and the tank can come out. Once you get the tank out, I took the air cleaner off to get at the batteries. Then it's just a bunch of 16mm bolts to separate the case. And the thing I liked in that video that I watched is they had made this contraption. It was ingenious, I thought. Seemed like a lot of work for one clutch job on a tractor, but it was brilliant. It's a angle iron frame, like 2 by 2 1/4 inch angle that they made up, a rectangular frame. They took some 2 jack stands, kind of like, where'd they go? I have one here. Oh, like that one there. And they disabled the mechanical latches and hooked up 2, one each, like a 5-ton bottle jack, to raise and lower the jack stand. And they made a base for the jack stands and put rollers, not wheels, just like a roller that would ride inside this angle iron frame, and jacked it up, took the weight off the center section of the tractor, and then the jack stands just kind of rolled on that frame, and it gave them about 3 to 4 foot of separation between the transmission and the engine. And it was brilliant, but I didn't have access to anything like that. I don't have the raw materials to build it. So what I ended up doing is 2 floor jacks. You can see, I don't know if you can get a sense of this here, but the rolling it forward, you see we have this in here. When we got so far forward, this whole thing leaned over, and my buddy Tom caught it and catched it. Wow. Caught it and held it up till I could get a block inserted in there. And then we managed to get it far enough apart, and with those weights on the front here, we weren't sure if it was gonna go this way, or, tip forward or tip back. So it is sitting on that jack stand there. There is weight on that, and there's weight on this. So I think when I go to put this back together, I'm going to use 2 ratchet straps to draw it back together. And I'm still not sure if the new clutch, and the whole reason they had me do this, I thought I had grease in my face. The whole reason they had me tear it apart before they got the new clutch is supposedly there's 2 clutches this could possibly be, and they needed to know which one before they ordered it. And I would have just ordered both and returned the one I didn't use or didn't need. Parts places are happy to do that if you don't know, and a lot of times if there's a core on it, who knows. So anyhow, the other thing I have to do here, and I'm going to take you down inside, and I don't know how much of this you'll be able to see, but the flywheel is all heat cracked. And so the flywheel has to come off, and look at the mass on that thing. That thing's going to weigh a ton. That's coming off today. That's my next job after I'm done here, is I'm going to remove that flywheel. And the bad thing is, I don't know if you caught that while you were in there, but there's lock tabs on all the bolts, so you have to knock those lock tabs off before you can take the bolts out. So that's where I am right now. That's what I'm working on today. I wish I could show more of this, but I still haven't broke out those 6 new action cams I have, and got figured out how to edit it all together yet. So still struggling with that. But yeah, that's where I am. That's why you haven't heard from me for a while. Also, in the course of all this madness, we had to move out of the back rooms for the renovations to start in the front portion of the building for the Pennsylvania Conference offices, the new Pennsylvania Conference offices. So, yeah. Well, for those of you that stuck with me through all this nonsense, I really appreciate it. I am up to 91 subscribers. I'm so close to 100. So if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you have a YouTube channel, it's something, you know, I'm assuming if you're watching this, we have some similar interests. I can subscribe to yours. Reciprocity. Drop a like, drop a comment. Feel free. I got a thick skin. Tell me whatever you want to tell me. I don't care. So anyhow, that's it for today. I'm going to let you all go now. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate all your time you're invested in watching my videos. Take care, stay well, and God bless.